So we're about 2/3 of the way into the semester. We're going to continue to work on some skill theory-based assignments, and still do some observation work. But I'm going to add a little bit to the mix, and we're going to be creating a thematic drawing incorporating perspective. So this first slide is simply a big question. It's, what is a vanishing point? And basically what happens in one point perspective, if you're going into, architecture, there's 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, it goes on. But for a beginning foundation course, 1 point perspective gives you information to get started with, and then you move forward from there. So if you're interested in this, there's tons of videos. 2 point perspective, usually go outdoors, you see the outside of the building, you'll see two sides to the building, and that's a different process, but we really don't have time, wish we did, to get into that 2 point perspective. So back up here, 1 point perspective, vanishing point is always at your eye level. So you can actually physically see when you look at this bridge, and the horizon line is at your eye level. So if you're sitting down on the bridge on the ground, your eye level is going to be where your eye is, where you look straight out, your eye, not up, not down to the side, but straight forward. That's going to be your vanishing point. If the artist, and I'll show you in the next slide here in just a minute, the artist is standing in a little different location. They're not standing right in the center of the bridge. They're off to the left. It's in a hallway. Same thing. So here we are in the hallway, and this is a student drawing of the art building hallway a few years ago. And you can see that in order to create the illusion of depth, these lines, all your diagonals are going to recede to 1 point, and that 1 point is your vanishing point. So when you first start out trying to analyze and figure out where you're going to start, where is your vanishing point? Of course, you can look straight down the hallway and kind of guess at it, but is to really just visually, you can take a ruler and hold it out in front of you, but you can see where these diagonal lines begin to merge to that 1 point. You look at the baseline or the floor tiles, ceiling tiles, the pictures on the wall. All diagonal lines will go to that 1 point. Your vertical lines will repeat and run parallel to the picture plane. Your horizontal lines will repeat themselves and be parallel to the picture plane. So horizontal and verticals run parallel to the picture plane. Diagonal lines are all going to converge to 1 point. The other thing that's going on here that's important to talk about is that as things go back in space, they get smaller and smaller. So if you look at the floor tile, you can see to the right, if you've been in the hallway in the art building, you can see to the right there's an enclave area. There's a men's bathroom there. A little further down, there's another enclave. It's much more narrow in your drawing, the appearance of it. And that's the ceramic lab. And then you go further and further down the hall. It almost becomes just one merge of dark value. The lines are so close together. Notice that the ceiling tiles, the floor tiles get larger. But this is important to know that this is not based in theory. I mean, some theory, but in observation, because you can see that the viewer is standing to the left. They're not right in the center, the way you see the in the photograph of the water and the bridge. But in this case, the artist is standing to the left. So the leaves also get smaller in scale as they go back in space. And this was a part of the assignment back then. I threw out something about throw in some shapes from nature. And then also the values go darker, consistently darker as they go back, and you can see where there's some light coming in from the ceiling light on the floor. So time permitting, you go into and do some value work to create more depth in the composition. Okay. Uh, well, in this one, I was having way too much fun. This, I have no idea if this creature is going to be moving when you open your slot, your computer. I hope so. I thought it was really fun. So this simplifies this, breaks it down, simple. Just think about it. You have your horizon line. This is pretend we're on the bridge or in the hallway at school. You have your vanishing point, which is that's right in front of you. If you're on a ladder, it's going to be higher. If you're sitting down on the floor, it's lower. And then you have objects getting smaller and smaller and smaller as they go back in space. So you want to keep those things in mind when you're developing your drawings. These are some basic principles that you will use over and over when you're doing anything working with one point perspective. If you're drawing your hallway at home, your doors are going to get smaller, may appear larger at first, but you think in theory that door down the hallway is going to be a little bit smaller. Run all the diagonal lines, you'll be able to find exactly where your point is on that back wall. So here we are in the hallway again. This is a recent drawing, thematic drawing. It's amusing. I enjoyed seeing this when it came in. I think it was well done. Lines go to diagonal lines are going into to the end of the hallway, and shapes are getting smaller. There's a nice feeling to this drawing. The critters running through the hallway. They call it Adventure Time, which I think is a great way to describe the imagination. That is what happens. You go into your imagination, and it is an adventure. So I think it's a possibility if you're considering theme, what you're going to do with your hallway. You're going to tell a story, have a familiar character, create your own characters, work with just basic themes like leaves going down the hallway. That's your choice. That's your decision. You can go into color with this, a little bit of watercolor, pen and ink, just black and white drawing like this, clean, sharp, precise edges. Remember that you will go over this whole thing in pencil and do it in pencil. That way you can make corrections and changes, and then you'll come in on top of that with a line drawing and then erase out the pencil lines. So with that said, we're going to end the video, and we'll go on to the next assignment, and I believe we are going to do something on a color. And we're approaching, the end of the semester, so we'll do a final project. And that'll be it.